Okay, so today we're going to be reacting to this video here called The Wasted Potential of Rainbow Friends. Let's hop into it. Here we go.
Oh boy. This one's going to be a bit controversial.
I do love controversial.
Before we start, let me just make this crystal clear.
Okay.
If you enjoy Rainbow Friends, that's great. I'm not making this video to tell you guys what your opinion is supposed to be. These are just my opinions and my observations, my critiques.
Okay.
And if you disagree, that is great. I'd love to hear what you guys think in the comments. Okay,
Same.
with that out the way, Rainbow Friends.
Yeah.
This game kind of sucks. And I'm not just saying that because I died in game, therefore game bad. I actually tend to die a lot in games, even games I really enjoy.
Yeah.
So the problem isn't a skill issue. I have genuine reasoning behind why I think this game is poorly designed and honestly not scary in the slightest. Hello everyone. My name is Skip.
I don't think it's meant to be a super scary game. It's meant to be, you know, kind of like Poppy Playtime. It's supposed to be hip with the kids. The kids are supposed to like it, find it nice and colorful and bright, and also a little bit scary. You know what I mean?
Today, we're going to be looking at Rainbow Friends.
Okay.
A Roblox horror game that had a lot of potential, but completely screwed itself over.
But not updating.
Let's jump in.
Where's the updates?
Call me the game apologist, because I believe that even the worst games have some good elements in them, and Rainbow Friends is no exception. Let's cover those first. First off, the game is very easy to pick up and play. There aren't complex mechanics you have to worry about learning, there's barely a need for a tutorial, it's all pretty self-explanatory. I can only assume that this is why the game got as popular as it is. Anyone can pick it up and get into it without much hassle. I still have problems with these mechanics, but we'll get to that later. Secondly, the enemies are all unique in their behaviors and aren't just reskins of each other. Blue is pretty standard. They walk around and start chasing you if they see you. Green is blind and will only attack you if you get in his way. This means that you can't
Honestly, on this topic, if I had one issue with the game, it's that they are a little bit too easy. You can literally just run away from Blue and he can't get you, you know? Like, they're pretty simple to avoid, I think.
Box up to avoid him. I tried and it doesn't end well. Purple hides in vents and grabs you if you walk by, and orange will run from point A to point B and attack anyone who gets in his way. These enemies are mostly introduced one by one, so you have time to figure them all out. This is probably the best part about the whole game in all honesty. Thirdly, navigation isn't a pain to do. Each room looks distinct enough from the others so you don't have to wonder where you are constantly. Blue arrows mark the way to the theater, so if you are ever just lost, you can follow those and find your way. Lastly, Blue's character design is very iconic. Can't say the same for the other characters, but at least Blue has something going for him. Unfortunately, that's where my praises for this game end. Now we have to talk about the actual topic of today's video, how the potential of this game was completely wasted.
By not updating the game, man. It is literally like, what day is it right now? January 4th. There has been no mentions of a new update for this game for like 3 months. Like, what is happening?
Let's take a moment to acknowledge that the button mapping in this game is kind of garbage now, because I couldn't fit this part anywhere else in the video. C is to crouch, and B is to use a box. Yeah, okay, cool, alliteration. But that is a really uncomfortable position for my hands to be in. I can practically feel carpal tunnel in my wrists already. There's also no way to remap this, which is to be expected of a Roblox game, but at least make the controls we do have comfortable to work with. My first major gripe with this game—
I don't have any problem with the controls. I think the controls are fine. Maybe if you play on mobile, it's a problem, but on PC, it's fine.
Is that the gameplay serves literally no purpose whatsoever. It's the same thing over and over. Find some item and bring it to the theater. Rinse and repeat. The gameplay does change at the end, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. While this gameplay does have the previously mentioned advantage of being easy to understand quickly, it's never built upon and never serves any real purpose. It's just kind of there. The game relies on teamwork. The problem with this is that teamwork is never rewarded. Everyone, no matter how much or how little they contributed, gets the same reward as long as they don't die. Players can just hide and wait for others.
I do think that should be changed. I think the more you do in the game, like the more boxes or batteries you find, I think you should get more coins for that, because the big problem is, like he's saying, people will literally just sit there, go AFK, and let everyone else do all the work for them, and that's really annoying.
Do all the work for them, and as far as the game is concerned, they did just as much as everyone else. There's no incentive to do anything for the team. There's also no sense of progression, which is a big issue. There's a number on the side of your screen which tells you how many items you found, but this doesn't do the trick. You want to know why so many games use pictures or icons to represent stats like health and stamina? It's because humans are much better at recognizing pictures than we are recognizing numbers or letters. A progress bar on the side would be a far better alternative, and they're not hard to set up either. The text works to show the player exactly the number of items needed to pass the night, but it doesn't visually convey progress like a progress bar does, and it struggles to make the player feel like they're progressing at all. The second point I have is the story.
Sure. I think out of all the problems the game does have, this is probably one of the least. Like, I wouldn't really worry about it, but sure, I guess.
Like the gameplay, it serves no purpose whatsoever. The entire thing can be summarized in 2 sentences. You are on a field trip to go to a theme park, but got lost and are now stuck in a strange facility. You perform some tasks, and then you can leave. Okay. What? Games like Piggy can get away with having mediocre gameplay because their story is interesting. Is it groundbreaking? No, but at least there's a story there that can keep you guessing. Rainbow Friends doesn't get this excuse, because the gameplay isn't the selling point, and the writing isn't the selling point. So what is the selling point? Is it the graphics? Well...
I actually disagree with him on this one. I think the story, it doesn't really put itself in front of you. You kind of have to like go around the map and like look at all the little puzzles and stuff to figure out the story, but there is story there. There's actually a lot of story there. So much, in fact, that Game Theory made a whole video on it. But for the people that don't like digging around the map trying to find stuff, it could be a little bit annoying, sure.
No. The game's art direction is in a weird limbo between cartoon and horror. You can tell it's trying to be a horror game, but also trying to be a cartoon as well, and it just doesn't feel right. The result is these really derpy and silly looking characters giving you the worst jump scares you've seen since FNAF 3. Be honest, does this guy look scary to you? No, he looks squishy and silly. The sound design has a similar problem. Hearing footsteps behind you is scary until those footsteps sound like this.
This game does the exact same thing that Poppy Playtime does, and it's making an indie horror game that appeals to children so that they can sell merchandise of that children, or not of the children, of the characters. That's basically it.
Alarm noises
Except they haven't sold any merchandise. They also haven't updated the game either, so maybe that's going to go in there somewhere, but...
a great way at sending you into a fight or flight response, if done correctly. I'll admit, I'm not sure what goes into making an alarm trigger the fight or flight response, but it's definitely got something to do with not sounding like this.
Honestly, when I first heard that, I didn't even know it was an alarm.
Just to be clear, there's nothing wrong with the game's art direction being silly or cartoony. However, if you're trying to make a horror game, you can't use these kinds of styles because they aren't scary. Horror is a weird genre because rather than being defined by its gameplay, it's defined by its art, its animations, its ambience, its story. The developers should have either gone all in on scary or all in on silly and cartoony. There's nothing wrong with going for either of those vibes, but trying to have both in the game.
The reason why they didn't is because then it wouldn't be popular. Like, the only reason it's popular is because a lot of kids play it. Like, it's mainly a kids game. Compared to a game like Doors where older audiences play it, Rainbow Friends is mainly kids. And so having that slight horror, slight cartoony vibe, that means a lot of kids are going to end up playing it. And they do.
Once hinders it, and any atmosphere the game had is completely ruined. The two conflict far too much to ever work together. Now, I know a lot of you are probably pointing at Poppy Playtime right now, going, that game is scary and uses cartoony characters and environments. What's the deal? And to an extent, you're right. Poppy Playtime is genuinely scary and also has some cartoony characters and environments. The difference between Poppy Playtime and Rainbow Friends is that Poppy Playtime isn't trying to be this goofy, silly game at the same time as being a scary game. It knows what it is. The cast of Rainbow Friends all look super cartoony and often awkward, while the cast of Poppy Playtime hit the uncanny valley. The environments in Rainbow Friends are trying to be vibrant and fun, while also trying to be creepy and unsettling all at once.
Yeah.
Poppy Playtime figured out a balance between the two, making it look like it was vibrant and fun, but now it's faded to being dull and bleak. Poppy Playtime understands how to make something scary. Rainbow Friends doesn't. I mean, come on, the main bad guy looks like a fish. Let's talk about the final stretch of the game.
I think that's intentional. I think that one's intentional.
Fetch quests aren't present here, surprisingly, and instead you have to cross this really small field without waking up Blue. At the end, Blue wakes up anyways and you have to escape through a vent, triggering a chase sequence. This is a nice change from the usual, even if a bit bland and admittedly ridiculously easy. After that, the game ends, and you now have to contemplate if you spent that half hour of your life wisely or not. Spoiler alert, you did not. You could have spent that time with your family, going outside and touching grass, subscribing to Life's a Skit on YouTube.
Nah, Roblox players don't go outside. Come on, man.
All do. But instead, you spent it outrunning the inflatable guy outside your local department store and knockoff buddy from Dinosaur Train. Joking aside, it's really disappointing that this is how the game turned out. The game could have been amazing. I really want to like this game, but there are too many problems to ignore. There are too many cut corners, too many poor game design choices, and the story might as well not even exist. But the worst offender is that the devs don't understand what makes a scary game scary. On the off chance that one of the devs is watching this video, fix at least the conflicting styles issue. Because of how much the two styles clash, the entire mood of the game is kind of just let down. Please just pick a style and stick to it. Also, maybe don't make your jump scares look like, well, this.
I think the jump scares definitely need some work.
If you enjoy this game, good for you. I'm not here to tell you why you shouldn't play the game, why you shouldn't enjoy the game, whatever. I'm here to talk about the game's design, the good and the bad. It just so happened that there was more bad than good, and that's really unfortunate. If you enjoyed or found this video informative,
there's a lot of things I agree with in this video. There's a lot of things I disagree with, like the story thing. It's interesting, though, because Doors and Rainbow Friends came out at around the same time, and Doors is genuinely a scary game. Like, it's a very good, well-made game. And if you compare something like, Rainbow Friends to Doors, I think most people would agree that Doors is the better game. Doors is just made better. The designs are better, the animations are better, almost everything in Doors is better. I think Rainbow Friends, like I mentioned before, is so popular because it's basically Poppy Playtime, but free. If you want to play Poppy Playtime, you gotta buy it. It's on Steam. Not a lot of kids can do that, so Rainbow Friends is kind of like the free version that a lot of kids flock to with Roblox. Honestly, I wish a lot of these issues would be fixed, like having some sort of like XP system where you could like gain levels or ranks or some reason to keep you playing would be a great thing. I mean, who wants to go outside and touch grass? I want to keep playing games, but they don't give me a reason to. And obviously, the game hasn't been updated in literally, actually, it hasn't ever gotten an update. We're still waiting on that update. The last thing the developers ever said was 2 months ago, and it says, Rainbow Friends just hit 1 billion visits. Thank you all for playing, but the Rainbow Friends aren't quite done with you yet. Stay tuned for more news on Chapter 2, but that was literally like 2 months ago, so I have no idea. Shout out to Daniel Plays for recommending me this video over on my subreddit. I'll have a link to it down below in the pinned comment section if you want to go on my subreddit and recommend me some more videos to react to. Have a great day.